Welcome to Book Banter with me, your host, Diane Burkhart. I hope you will join me every Wednesday as we explore all things to do with, well, books. Let's get on with our show today. Hello, my happy people. Today is November 12th, 2025, and we are coming down to the last few episodes of Season 4 of Book Banter with Diane Burkhart. I am so excited about the next few guests we have. Of course, we've had fantastic guests all year long. I have had so much fun talking to everyone, but we just have a few more to go. And today we have somebody very incredible for you. Have you ever thought about just taking like a year off and going backpacking through Europe, maybe going on a safari through Africa, just meeting different people, seeing different cultures, trying different foods, doing all of that on your own? I know I always thought about it, but I never did it. I never had the time. I never had the money. And quite honestly, I'm not sure that I really had the nerve to go do that. But our guest today did exactly that. She took a trip through so many different countries, and she has turned that experience into a series of memoirs. This is her Back in a Year series, and we are talking about the first books that she has published and the ones that she has coming in the future. She has some really great stories to tell, and you are going to love her. So without further ado, please welcome to Book Banter with Diane Burkhart, Candace MacPhie. I love to start my shows by just asking everyone to please tell our audience who you are and what you do.
Okay, hello, my name is Candace MacPhie, and I'm an author.
Now, you actually have degrees in, so you have a Bachelor of Commerce and an MBA. That is not typically the education that one would think of with somebody who is writing backpacking memoirs. How did you bring those two things together?
And not terribly helpful either. I'll be perfectly honest. None of those degrees helped me with what I'm doing right now. When I came into this as sort of a second career, I was very good at PowerPoints, but definitely not in terms of telling a story and how to put a story together properly. So for me, this is my second coming, if you will, in terms of career, and my reshape, my reframe of my life in terms of what I want to do. I spent the first 20 years working in corporate world, large teams, managing large teams, working in complex organizational problems, which my 2 degrees definitely help with.
Your first book, Finding Color, is the first installment of your Back in a Year series, which also includes Life Strikes Back and Hello, I'm Here. What inspired you to turn your backpacking travels into a book series?
That's a good question. When I was doing it, I took a lot of notes, journals. It was more journals, just sort of dumping everything that happened during the day and everything that was going on. And I really personally grew a lot during that time. And a lot of things happened that wouldn't happen today because of technology and because things are so different now.
Because these were all in the 90s, right?
Yes, they are. They're all in the 90s. So when you read them, you go in, you're not only in this crazy story in terms of all of the things that are happening, but you're in that time period. You don't have a phone, you have a guidebook to guide you, and that's it. It was really important to me to be able to share what it was like during this time. Also, it was a nice start for me to be able to step into this writing space and figure out if it's something I want to do. And I love it. I absolutely love writing. I love everything about it. I love the challenge. I love to be able to take words and put them together in an economical way and impactful way to be able to draw you in and give the reader a real sense of adventure and just to kind of run through it, to be there and to be hot and to be frustrated or happy or whatever it is that is going through during the time of the story.
Oh, yeah. I can tell that you're hopelessly hooked now. Welcome to the club. You will never be able to stop writing. Even if you stop publishing, you will never be able to stop writing now.
I love it. You know what? I do miss, I'm not gonna lie, there's maybe there's when I loved everything about it. I miss the camaraderie and the connection with folks when you're working and not bouncing ideas off of each other. And you can still find that in the writing space. It's just different. It comes in a different format in terms of coalitions of writers groups or book coaches or even talking with a friend over coffee. I just find that I do miss that part of it. It is quite an not an isolated journey, but it's an individual journey in terms of writing. For me, anyways, when you're really in the thick of it, it's really up to you. So that's one thing I do miss. So I'm trying to replicate that to sort of fill that void, if you will.
That's one thing that a lot of writers find. I mean, the actual work itself is very solitary. I mean, somebody can't sit there and help you write your sentences. You can bring people in to help critique and help you edit and give you ideas, but the actual product has to be done by you alone.
Right. And at the end of the day, it's my responsibility to provide a journey for folks and to provide the best journey with the least amount of words and the smoothest journey. My dad often criticizes me, oh, you're being too fussy. He goes, oh, you only got that many pages done, or you're being too fussy. He's always poke, poke, poke. I'm like, Dad, as in, maybe I am, but I feel that I'm not done until I've done it the best I possibly can, until I've really gone over it that, 20th time to make sure that all the words are tucked in and they're said in the best way.
Well, it also depends on the subject matter. Some things you can write very quickly because it has a formula to it. But a lot of times when you're doing memoir work, it's so personal. You're not only just writing the words, you're dealing with those emotions again. I know just from my own experience, because I'm writing a memoir right now too, and I was shocked with how many emotions it was bringing up for something that happened 20 years ago. And in my memoir group, everybody talks about that, that sometimes, even whenever you're recounting your own stories that you've already lived and dealt with, when you're writing it, it's like you're going through it again for the first time. You're feeling all of those emotions again because you're describing it in such detail.
Yes. And you're having to dig into some emotions that, to be perfectly frank, I thought I dealt with.
Hmm.
I thought I had secured and sort of boxed up and put on the shelf, but I hadn't. And it's quite interesting to go back and reopen this and how wonderfully fulfilled it feels in a lot of ways to finish a book, not just the finishing of the book, but to be going, okay, yeah, I kind of understand where that was. And I kind of look at it as rather than building a new car, I'm taking an old car and I'm fixing it up. And I know it sounds weird because I don't know, maybe you get it. I just find that when I'm taking this old car, there's a lot of spots that are really rusty and they take more work.
Hmm.
And I have to dig into them. And then there's other parts that go smoother. So I guess that's where I'm rebuilding my Camaro, if you will.
Well, and I think your work is probably a little bit complex too, because you have a lot of humor in your books, but there are also a lot of very heavy topics that you even give trigger warnings for your books. How hard was it to balance humor with such serious experiences and still write an engaging story?
To me, that was the important part. I didn't want to drag people down this rabbit hole of dread and doom. Because who wants to read that? So it actually made it easier. And I know it sounds really strange, but if there's a heavy scene, it naturally speaks to the next scene to bring the levity forward in terms of where we were. And I think it also shows the resilience in terms of how I dealt with everything that happened. There was a lot of not nice moments, but there was a lot of special moments. And what I wanted to show as well was that the special moments weren't necessarily seeing all the amazing things. The special moments were just the funny interactions and the wonderful people that I met along the way. And I just wanted folks to realize that, I'm just in a tangent here for a sec. I often sit if I'm waiting for someone and just watch and don't check out my phone.
Hmm.
I watch people just looking at their phone, playing some ridiculous game or checking their important emails. And I saw this really handsome guy and he was checking his phone. This really pretty girl walked by and completely missed her. And I was like, oh man, I find so much that we're so heads down into our devices and just not paying attention to what's going on around. But that was the time where you did pay attention because there wasn't anything else. Like if you didn't have a book, your was focused on what was around you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the magic happened for me. And that's what I wanted to show in these books.
You describe a lot of difficult struggles during your travels, like food issues, culture shock, and even a few scary safety issues. What do you hope readers take away from your experiences?
What do I want people to experience? First of all, I wanted people to just experience the journey. If you didn't have a chance to do it yourself, then you can do it. Also, I wanted folks to realize that, yeah, okay, bad things happen, but I kept going. It didn't stop me. I wanted folks to realize that just keep going, just keep trying. And I guess I just wanted to share, I wanted people to sit back and relax, just armchair travel, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
and enjoy this journey of this person who's growing and is like naive in a lot of ways and just really trying to figure out what's coming next. So, you know, bad things happen to everybody. And my story starts because I had a bad personal experience. And I'm not saying mine's the worst because everybody's experience is their own bad experience. Life's not smooth, it's not easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
How we bounce back and what we do next. And I just hope that people take some kind of comfort or some kind of camaraderie in my words, and they're able to take it and apply it to their own life in whatever way, and then just move forward. Because you know what? It's way too short. We got to keep going and we got to keep pushing towards what we want.
Now, Finding Color has already won a couple of awards, including gold in the 2025 Bookfest Awards. How has recognition impacted your confidence and motivation as a debut author?
It was wonderful. I think for me, it helped. Not that I was never going to stop. Maybe someone like, please stop. But it helps validate. You can have you can read your reviews and look at it, but it is nice from that recognition point of view, just from a confidence perspective to say, okay, you're on the right track. Just keep going and just keep getting better. And I find each paragraph, each word, each scene I put together, I'm feeling more confident. It's not that necessarily way better. It's just maybe that it comes faster, or I can more succinctly understand what the best point of that scene is.
Did you ever have imposter syndrome before that?
Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? And I think it was a lot of ego, right? And when I left my job in the corporate world, which was all I knew, like clinging to that job. I decided to leave. And even when I left, I didn't jump right into writing. I still did some part-time consulting, validation consulting and delivering good value to folks. And yes, I've done some work. And it took me ages to sit there. And the day I changed this is going to sound so lame, but the day I changed my LinkedIn profile from my old title to author, it was like, ugh, like I literally was like almost, my stomach was like in knots. And I'm like, okay, just do it, Candace. Candace, just do it. Like, just do it. It's okay. Like, it's okay. And to be able to present myself in a new package, if you will, and the same person, but this is my wrapping now. It was very different. And I'm well into it now and I love it. And I'm not shy to say what I do now. I just own it and step into it. And that I think is part of my personal growth too.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I have spoken to so many authors over the course of this podcast, and I have lots of friends who are authors too. Every single one of them has had that kind of a moment where they're like, okay, I want to do this, but am I really an author? Am I really good enough to say that I am an author? And it usually takes that first book, that first award for somebody else to go, yes, you're not only an author, you're good at this, for it to finally sink in and hit. It's like, okay, I made the right choice.
Yes. Yes.
Have you entered any of your other books into any contests?
Oh, not recently. No, you know what? I haven't. I've had a few personal things going on, and that's been the line I've been following. But it's definitely on the next rung of things I need to do.
Well, I kind of figure she seems like me because my first book, I entered it in a couple of contests and I won awards. And I'm like, okay, I'm good. I needed that validation and then I stopped entering the rest of them. I just wanted that validation on the first one, so I felt like I was going in the right direction.
Yeah, it hasn't really been on the forefront of my mind. I don't know. I just didn't do it. I didn't even think about it. So yeah, I'm with you for whatever your reason. Mine is probably similar. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm just going to keep writing. So
So why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit of a synopsis of your first book, Finding Color?
absolutely. So the first book starts oddly enough in the doctor's office, which is really strange, but it seemed like the most impactful scene to me. So it's about a young woman whose mother recently passed and is just kind of floundering and just not sure, what's going on. There was a lot of years spent being a primary caregiver and just a real lack of understanding of what that person wanted to do with her life or anything. So yeah, they just give up their whole known existence and go backpacking. And that's what this is about. It's about this girl who just wants to find a place and goes and has crazy adventures. Like, I can't even start with how many crazy things happened along the way. It's also a lot of growth too. I keep talking about myself in the third person. And whenever I used to interview people, and if they'd say, "Oh, Candace is," and I'm like, "Oh, the loser," I'd never sort of even interview those people. But it feels like I'm so far removed from this time period that
Hmm.
I'm such a different person that it's almost like dealing with the character now. And it's a lot of growth, and it's funny. There's romance, there's crazy interactions with people. My whole goal was for folks to be able to laugh and just cringe and cry and to feel all the emotions and to just dump you right into this cool story where you get to travel around the world and see all sorts of cool stuff. My favorite sort of, I guess, hook line is Bridget Jones Goes Backpacking, because it's just a folly of events that I don't think I could make up.
I like that. Knowing what you know now, is there anything that you would go back and change if you could
Change in my books or change in my experience?
in your experience?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. There's a boy, and I always dragged that situation on a bit too long. So I definitely would have dealt with that differently.
So
Yeah.
maybe not skip it, but just end it sooner.
You skipped it. No way. But I definitely wouldn't have dragged it on as long as I did.
This seems like the good time to do our 5 quick questions that never turn out to be quick, but this time we're going to do a travel edition just for you.
Woohoo.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Question 1. What was your favorite food you discovered on your travels?
Okay. Turkish pizza.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, in Istanbul. It's not on this trip. It still sticks with me today. It's kind of like a long canoe, if you will.
Yeah.
It's just comes with all these toppings. It's crunchy and it's so like, yes, Turkish pizza.
There's a place here in our town in Germany that does those really well. They're so good.
So good. Turkish pizza.
Question 2. What is a smell that always triggers a happy memory from your travels?
Mm. Probably the mountain air. I live in the Rocky Mountains here and I smell it a lot, so I'm quite lucky. And there was one day I went hiking in Poland, in the mountains there in southern Poland, and it was such a nice day and it was beautiful. And there's just something so crisp and clean about that kind of air, and it just makes me happy.
That's a good answer. I like that. Question 3. What is one travel destination that completely surprised you?
Oh, so that's easy. Croatia. So back in the time 20 years ago when I went to Croatia, gosh, is it 25 years ago now? It's 25 years ago now. Oh my God, I'm feeling so old. Sorry. So Croatia, there was no Game of Thrones then. It was very, nobody went to Croatia. It was rare.
Hmm.
And the local folks, they didn't give a care that you were there. It was the first time where I wasn't looked at, ridiculed, or eyeballed or anything because no one cared that you were there. They just
Hmm.
basically you and you just went on your merry way. Not only that, it's beautiful. I was completely surprised. I don't know if it's the same now, but you could rock up to one of their beautiful peninsula towns and just, it was so hot, you just strip off into your bathing suit, jump off the rocks, go for a swim, and then cruise back and go for a coffee. It's the most relaxed, the most beautiful scenery, and it's a true delight to go there. I think it's still just as lovely. It's probably just a little more commercial now than it was then.
Question 4. What would you say to one of your children if they said they wanted to do this?
Oh, I would help them pack. Absolutely. I would put all the piles on the bed and vet through the clothes and vet through the things. And I would also meet them somewhere where I give them lots of time to get used to sort of roughing it and then meet them and take them out for nice food and hang out with them. I would absolutely help them pack.
Is there any place you would say, you must go here?
On top of Croatia, I would say Africa.
Oh, that'd be nice.
You know, Africa was also a complete surprise in terms of what it gave back, and it completely changed a lot about, I guess, my balance and just how I felt about the world. The scenery, it's hard not to just get sucked in and just uh, words. It's hard with words in Africa because it's this place that is like no other.
That's the one place my husband and I keep talking about we want to go to that we haven't gotten to yet. We want to do a photo safari because we love animals so much and we would love to just go take photos all over the place.
Yeah, that's something you can do. I think you would laugh at my story because my camera broke in Cairo right before I went.
Oh,
Yeah. And I had to get some random no-tell, sort of no-brand camera at the airport in Nairobi. And so I went on this 6-week safari with this unproven pocket camera.
oh,
I know everyone was looking at me. I'm like, don't talk about it.
don't jinx it.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's the best camera we could possibly get. But if you want to do that, you should. It is so beautiful and it's so welcoming. And a lot of people do it. There's a little bit of lost magic with just all the trucks going by
Hmm.
and everyone with zoom cameras taking pictures of the one lion walking by.
Yeah.
So there is a bit of that, but there are some, again, tucked in between all of those busy moments, there's a few special ones that you'll probably remember forever. So I would go.
Now, question 5 is one that I'm asking everybody this season because I'm creating a recommendation list from authors to readers of who their favorite authors are. So, question 5 is whenever somebody asks you for a book recommendation, who's the first author that you think of?
Oh, I have to go with Kristen Hanna. You know, The Nightingale is one of my favorite books, but then when I read The Woman, I just I just melted in a puddle in terms of how she put that story together. I bow down to her competency and expertise every day.
Now, what do you have coming up next for you? You've got 3 books in this series. Do you plan on more?
Oh, yes, there's 5 books in this series. So the next book is actually about Africa. So that's where I am right now in Kenya, trying to battle through the interesting interactions I had there.
Hmm.
So the next book is the safari that I took through Africa and through Eastern Africa. So it was 6 weeks on a truck with people I had never met, 28 people. So it's a bit of an interesting social experiment, mixing that many people who don't know each other.
Hmm.
Norming thing really comes into play when everybody is just trying to be on their best behavior and then it all goes horribly wrong. So it's an interesting balance of the animals and then the people. So, it's hard to know who's who at a lot of times, but I'm working on that. And then there's the 5th book and the final book, which takes place in South Africa, Australia, and then goes back to London.
Do you think you'll write anything after this, or is your backpacking adventures the end of your journey?
Well, it's funny. There was a long time I lived in London, and it could be a bit like Sex and the City version, London version.
Hmm.
That's an option. If that doesn't happen, then there's definitely more writing in my future. Like you said, I'm hooked and I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of characters I can zoom and sort of whip up into a frenzy and see where they go.
Would you ever consider being a travel reporter?
Travel reporter, wouldn't that be interesting? You know what? I don't think so. Just because it's so different now. There's a lot more about blogs, and there's a lot more about, I guess, wowing people with videos rather than words.
Hmm.
I like to stay in the word lane. So, I mean, I'm sure that there is words in terms of travel reporters, but it's not as I don't think it has as much impact. I'd rather stick to my computer and whip up some words there.
Now, where can people find you and your work so they can follow along as you produce more books?
My website is CandaceMacPhie.com. That's got all the information about all the upcoming books.
And of course, as always, we will have all of your information in the description of today's podcast, along with clickable links so that they can go and find you and your work and buy all of your books. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have had so much fun talking to you because it's really interesting talking to somebody else who has written and published memoirs while I'm trying to still figure out how to write my own. So it's wonderful to hear all of this information about how it all worked for you.
Oh, good. Well, how far are you along in your memoir?
About a fourth of the way. It's still got a long way to go.
Oh, it's funny. I think there's always stages for me with this. So you have to kind of write it, like write all the stuff down and then turn it into a readable story, or else it comes off as an itinerary. It's hard not to tell, right?
Hmm.
To be able to turn it into a story and have it have a point and give a reader the beginning, middle, and the end. That's where most of my learning came in.
It was very nice to meet you, and I will be sure to tell Mickey thank you very much. Because I had three spots, and so I wrote to Mickey, I'm like, okay, I would like three authors that do like these kinds of books. And you were the first person that he sent me because I wanted feel-good books for November for people to buy for either holiday reading or gifts for holiday shopping. And you were who he suggested for that.
Oh, it was lovely to meet you.
So there you have it, folks. My fantastic interview with the wonderful Candace MacPhie. Be sure to check out her Back in a Year series and keep watching for the rest of those books to be dropping in the future. Now, next week, we're going to be talking with Amy Wineland Daughters about her book, You Cannot Mess This Up, a true story that never happened. The concept is really interesting. In this book, it's 2014, and Amy Daughters is a 46-year-old stay-at-home mom living in Dayton, Ohio. Suddenly, it's 1978, and she is forced to spend 36 hours in her childhood home with her nuclear family as that adult, but she also has to spend that time with her own 10-year-old self. She has a whole new perspective on her memories, looking back at her childhood home, and the concept is just absolutely incredible, and we talk all about it next week. Don't forget, keep watching everything going on at burkhartbooks.com because we have got the next magazine getting ready to drop for the holiday shopping guide. And it is coming along so well. I've only been working on it about a week and a half, and it's over halfway done. I am so happy. It has never gone this fast for me before. So it does help that I changed up the format of this a little bit. It is definitely a book buying catalog. It's not completely a literary magazine the way that I've done it in the past, where I've written individual articles about each person. This is focused on our podcast and on showing you all of the information so that you can follow along with the authors who have been guests on our podcast. And I think this is really going to work well for us. We also have some book reviews in here. We've got a special feature for two members of our writing community that we lost this year. And it's really just turning out to be a great tribute magazine. And I'm really proud of how it's coming along. So keep watching for that. Hopefully, it will come out just in time for Black Friday shopping so that you can fill out your shopping list or even fill out your own to be read list that you've been wanting to bulk up a little bit more. But I think that's enough for today, folks. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I hope that you are really looking forward to the holidays this year, whatever holiday you celebrate. And I hope that you go forth and you're just really happy.